Hello everyone, hope you all are doing well. So just wait for a few seconds, then we'll start. A very interesting session. We'll discuss about the Zscaler IP anchoring. So just wait for a few seconds and then we'll start. All right. If you guys having any question, just try to put in chat, whether you're watching on the YouTube or Zoom, it doesn't matter. Just put your query, live query, so we can have a discussion and we'll see how we can resolve those queries. All right. So without any further delay, let's start today interesting session that is a SIPA. So what is SIPA? We keep learning about Zscaler and many people are trying to learn. So due to lab issues, like lab is not possible. So what I'm trying to do, as much as possible, I can clear the concept through the, video tutorials. So whenever you guys start working in the production environment, and if you're having this kind of terminologies, and if you want to correlate like how this thing is working, so it is going to help your life very easy, right? So this is a SIPA is nothing that's known as a source IP anchoring. You can see as a name. So this is a very unique and interesting term people are using whenever you're working in the Zscaler scenario. So we'll understand what is the meaning of the SIPA and what is the benefits when we are going to use this SIPA in the Zscaler scenario. So before I go in and start this Zscaler IP anchoring, I would like to give in brief idea about the Zscaler product. If you guys not watched my video, which is available on our YouTube channel, so probably you can go there and if you just try to explore, you'll find that there is multiple videos available for different technologies, but there is one video that is known as the GIA versus GPA. Okay, so I covered this video and I explain about what is the GIA and what is the GPA. So probably you all should know what is the GIA and what is the GPA, right? So let me just give some basic idea about the GIA and GPA. So one is known as GIA, another is known as the GPA, right? So these are the, and third one is like we having the monitoring tool, like I'm not going to touch that, but for the GIA, that is a G scalar, like uh, what is a internet like that is acting as a proxy. So this is a GIA and GPA is Zscaler private access, and one is the internet access. GIA is Zscaler internet access. So this is like purely proxy. So whenever you use the GIA, so let me just write here Zscaler internet access. So you guys should know the clear definition, and GPA is the Zscaler private uh, access. Okay, so these are the two products basically keep you talking in the Zscaler portfolio in the solution. So what is the use for the GIA and what is the use for the GPA? So whenever you talk about the GIA, just think about the proxy, right? So what is the proxy solution we have earlier? So it might be the blue code proxy we have, other proxy, McAfee proxy we have, other vendor also like Forti proxy we have, Palo Alto proxy we have. So a lot of proxy available in the market. Similar, this GIA is going to act as a proxy. That is a cloud proxy. You can see that. So this is the basically no hardware cloud-based proxy. So all the your internet-based traffic or web traffics, they keep redirecting toward the proxy from your lane, any organization LAN offices. Might be there could be the small offices, might be the medium, might be the large. Many people are sitting and they just wanted to access the web traffic. So they all by default going to send toward the proxy. So this is like GIA is going to help and going to check every traffic which is going toward the proxy. Now, what is a GPA? So GPA is again, this is just think about that is a remote access VPN, right? So what is the flavor of the remote access VPNs? So in a market, we having a very like too many remote access VPNs. Likewise, if you see in my computer, I have this is the known as the Cisco ANA Connect VPNs, right? Cisco ANA Connect VPNs. So when I connect this VPNs, what is going to happen? This is the additional client software need to install in my PC And based on that, I can connect any of my internal networks. So what is the internal networks? That means like I'm working from home. So let's say suppose we're having a culture WFH, work from home, right? So whenever we are working from home, so we have to access our internal like LAN infrastructure, internal LAN network, right? Which is basically you just understand your office network. You might be right here, your office network. So how these all things is going to be happen by sitting in the home. So in your home, what basically you are going to do, you might be, let me just open some paint. Just give me 1 minute. Uh, Let me just draw some scenario in my whiteboard so we can understand basically how the situation is going to happen and how the actual connection is going to form from your your home to your office network and what all intermediate devices is come in between. Okay, so let me show you. So let me just clear this screen. So as I mentioned that, let's just suppose you're working from home, right? And once you're working from home, then what is going to be happen? Probably you just have to just where's my pen? It's not working. Some issue happen. Okay, let me draw in this way. So let's just suppose this is your like uh, uh, just give me 1 second. Okay, somehow my E-pen is not working. Just let me try to fix it. And I will try to demonstrate. Just give me a few seconds. Okay, it looks fixed. Not fixed. Still having issue. Okay, now it's fixed. Okay. So what I was talking, let's say suppose you having this is your any you're just doing work from home, right? So how your work from home setup is going to be happen? So might be you having one of the laptop, right? This laptop might be connected with the Wi-Fi internet, right? So might be one of the Wi-Fi antenna which keep radiating the signals, and from there you just connected with this laptop, and this Wi-Fi is just connected with your internet, right? So whatever the ISP might be, this could be the Airtel, Vodafone, or any other based on your country where you are living, any broadband connection, basically whatever you just having the broadband connection. So this broadband connection will provide the internet connectivity, but you are just connected with the open internet. That is not secure at all, right? And now there is a requirement by sitting in your home doing work from home, you just have to access might be the application which might be hosted in a data center, right? So for your office network, right? So this is your office data center, office DC, and there is one of the server which is hosted here in the server, might be server one and server two. So how you can get them access, right? So this is not possible by sitting in the home network, you can access them. So first thing, you just have to make sure you have the internet reachability from your home network to this data center like locations. Might be they're also having one of the internet routers connected here, which is just facing the internet. And behind this internet router might be we just having the firewall and other things for the security purpose, load balance and firewall and everything. So once you want to connect them, it is not possible you can just connect on the plain network. Some kind of the VPN technology you just have to use, right? So it could be the remote access VPNs, right? So remote access VPNs. So what the remote access VPN could be, might be you just using the Palo Alto. So if you're using the Palo Alto, so Palo Alto use the global protect, right? So they use the global protect, right? You can use the SSL VPN, right? SSL VPN you can also use. The another things we just having to use like SSL VPN you use, and then after what else? We just having the Cisco AnyConnect VPN also you can use. Let me just use this pen. Cisco AnyConnect. So SSL Global Protect, multiple vendor having a lot of things. Similar, Zscaler also providing the VPN solution that is known as the GPA, right? Zscaler Private Access. Exactly the same thing. What Palo Alto, what the SSL VPN do, what the Cisco AnyConnect do. So similar, you just have to install additional software in your computer, like with this Cisco AnyConnect, and where you just have to use the username and password once you log into the laptop, and then it will try to connect your office network. And once you connected with the office network, you can access the internal application. So this is how GPA is going to work. There are a lot of things, application segment, a lot of things we have to do the configuration to just make this reachability. But I'm just telling you, you just have to understand what is the GIA and what is the GPM. So now we're just having a little bit idea about the GIA and GPA and what is the meaning of that, right? So now I'm coming to the picture. What is the source IP anchoring and what is actually requirement is going to happen? So probably if we are learning about the, our any of the firewall technologies, right? What firewall technology we have? So might be you're learning about the Palo Alto, right? So Palo Alto, might be you're running the ASA, might be you're running the checkpoint, might be you're running the FortiGate, right? Or might be you're running the support, any firewalls. So you're just having the option to the NAT. So this could be your source NAT, right? It could be your destination NAT, right? So these are the most popular NAT. Might be the name could be different on the different vendors firewall, but the concept is going to be underlying the same, the source and destination NAT. So what the going to happen on the source and destination NATs? So basically, whenever you are just going to access any of the internet-based applications, so your office LAN network must be change their source IP address. So might be this is your LAN, and you just wanted to go over the WAN, right? So whenever you just wanted to leave from the LAN to WAN, your IP, so whatever the local private IP should be, private IP should be translated over, let me just, over public IP, right? So once you do the private to public translation by using the source NAT, then only you might be able to access the internet, right? If you're not going to do that, probably your private IP is not going to route over the internet, so you are not able to access the internet. So anyhow, even you are using the home broadband, you never realize. You can see in my office, in my laptop, this is my laptop, and if I am going to here and I am going to check the IP configuration, you can see this IP configuration having just this private IP address. But this is my private IP address, this is my gateway. But if I'm trying to ping any of the like destinations, let's just suppose I'm trying to ping 1.1.1, see, it is reachable. So my internet is reachability is there. If I am trying to reach the google.com, I'm able to reach, but this is my home router. So who is doing that? So basically, even you're not realizing, but actually your router is the home base router is doing the NAT. Let me show you how basically they're going to NAT. So if you're opening your home routers, like let me just opening my home router here. And if you opening this home router, if you go somewhere in the, WAN settings, and you'll find that local network, LAN client, let me see. We having option for the NAT. This is WLAN, LAN. Let me just go. TCP server. There is nothing. We must have somewhere. Let me see in the internet. So in WAN, if you see here, see, this is the internet, and you can see the NAT is on. You can see here. This is the NAT. So even your NAT is on. This is a very small broadband router, and this broadband router even having a NAT. So that's why you can see this is the public IP address which I have in the my ISP they have given, but they are using the NAT, and this is a DNS IP address what they are using, right? So this is how basically NAT is required in the every of the network. It's not like simply it's only required whenever we're having the firewall and office network. No, it's always whenever you have to go to the internet, NAT is a prerequisite. Okay, without NAT, you cannot go to the internet because we having the private range. So that range are might be you guys know that 10 series we having the private range. We having the this private range we having a 172.16.0. Private. So these are our private range. So any of the IP if you're connected from these subnets, they must be translated over the public, then only they can go to the internet, right? So this is the NAT translation that is going to be required. So what are the challenges and why this NAT is very important? So there is a no challenge. We just have to do the NAT. So this is simple. Without NAT, you cannot go to the internet. So you cannot think about a challenge. It's a requirement. Okay. But while you're doing the NAT, there is a lot of challenge and there is a lot of, if you talk about the realistic scenario, there is a lot of challenges going to happen. So some of the web servers having a requirement might be you have faced this issue. So web server having a requirement, that should be, let me just write here, that should be be accessed via fixed public IP address. So this is the requirement, right? And when this requirements come, might be in all scenario, like all scenario, NAT is not going to help you. So what that mean? So many country, many websites, right? Just think I'm in from the India. So there is an income tax website, right? Income tax website, right? So this income tax website, if someone is trying to access, someone, let me just write it, someone is, why I'm writing so you guys can understand in slowly, trying to access from, might be the neighboring country, is Pakistan, right? Might be it is blocked. So Pakistan or any, like you just think about the Sri Lanka, right? These are my neighboring countries. So might be will be blocked. How? So in Sri Lanka, also in Pakistan, also they having the internet, right? So let's suppose I go to Sri Lanka, I connected with any ISP network, right? ISP network I have connected. Now after connecting the ISP network, what is going to happen? I have a public IP address, right? So what is the requirement to access this income tax website, right? So the requirement to access this income tax website is just you should have the publicly connected. So this is the India-based income tax website, but I'm connected with a public IP which is just hosted in the Sri Lanka or Pakistan. So my income tax website or the server will think, why someone sitting in the Pakistan or Sri Lanka need to access this India tax website? Because they having a provision only the people who is sitting in the India, they should have access to this website and they only to need to fill the ITR form, right? So this is like, I'm just giving an example. So probably the public IP belongs to the other countries, the public IP which going to be belong to the other country, they might be not able to access the your any of the government website, any of the servers. Similar thing is going to happen in the many AWS, Azure, GCP cloud-based scenario, where many people are just restricted or many server owners restricted. This server must be accessed via the fixed IP address, not via the all IP address. So when we having such kind of a requirement, fixed IP access, then we just have to do the NAT to the particular fixed range of the IP address, then only it is possible to access that server. So this is exactly possible by the source NAT, and that your IP should be belong to the that fixed list, and then it is possible. So it's always happened to the government websites. Some of the other very confidential servers, they not allow any kind of access to the network, right? So now coming to the SIPA, right? So let's just suppose you are using the Zscaler. So what is the challenges is going to happen for you? So if you are using the Zscaler, the first challenge is your whatever the user machine, right? Whatever the user machine they're coming. Let's suppose this is your machine, right? You connected with a like. Let me just write here PC. This PC having the IP address. Just think about 172.16.10.10/24, right? This is your LAN. This is connected with the switch, right? So this is your switch. This is your switch one, and further they have connected either with the routers or a firewall. It could be the any scenario, could be the router or could be the firewall. So this is the like how their office LAN network could be designed. So let me just draw it. Very simple topology. Now there is a requirement. They have to access Google, right? Google search, right? So google.com, I'm just writing here. This google.com is basically hosted somewhere in the internet cloud, right? So this is the internet cloud. So now google.com is accessing the internet cloud. Then how this connectivity is going to happen, right? So there is two way. You can send this traffic directly by doing the NAT. Just take the ISP link. So might be, let me just, there could be two scenarios. So what you can just take the ISP circuit. This is your ISP. Just think about, this is your ISP, local ISP. And this ISP will give one of the lease line where your router is going to be connect. And this ISP is already connected to the other world of the internet. So now your traffic will reach to the internet. It could land to the router and it could land to the firewall. Either of the case, if you want to go plain via the router or the firewall, you just have to perform the NAT here. Okay. So just you have to perform the NAT here. Without NAT, you cannot, this user cannot talk to the internet google.com. So both of the scenario, you just have to do the NAT. But let's say suppose you are doing the NAT, right? So a lot of security parameter you just have to achieve while going to any internet based or web based application. So simply by using the NAT, it is not possible. Let's just suppose you want to inspect the content of the user, what content they are using, like content inspection you want to do, application inspection you want to do, SSL decryption, SSL decryption you want to check, right? Or any DLP data leak prevention you want to check. So many policies, any like URL you want to block, right? Any DNS you want to block, right? So this is not possible to do via the normal router scenario. Some of the feature we can use by using the next generation firewall, might be the Palo Alto, exactly they can do all the things, but with the help of the router, it is not possible. So this is the challenges, right? So all security perimeters, whatever you wanted to achieve or apply for your users, that is not simply possible. Like posture management, what kind of the traffic, what kind of cookies, what the file they downloaded, if there is any virus, there is any spying activity. So these all things need to be checked, because now the web things are very, dangerous in any corporate network, and you can see that lot of kind of the vulnerability attack is happening in our market, and many of the organizations are suffering from them. So you just have to very robust network, and that network should be well protected by the required all security parameters. So that's why this is something which not actually we can achieve by using the routers, but yes, somewhat maximum thing you can achieve via the firewalls, right? But the firewall things is going to happen every traffic whatever you're just sending to the internet, they just have to NAT and then it will go to the internet. So you just have to change your actual source IP to your public source IP address. That is another challenge. You're just exposing your WAN IP address to the everyone. So might be it is possible they can reach out to your at least this router, right? At least because you are just NATing with the public. So might be somehow they can understand the packets and they might reach your last of the router. So these kind of challenges we having in the NAT scenario. So how we can overcome this kind of a scenario in the Zscaler proxy scenario. So I'm just not going to use this. And now I'm just going to remove this. Okay. So let me just go, and this is, so just think this router or firewall is connected with the internet, right? But after this internet, might be we just having some kind of the chain, right? So chain is with Zscaler enforcement's node. So you can just write here Zscaler enforcement node. So this chain might be you'll sitting here, and this is again connected with the nearest with the internet, right? So what we have to do now? So you have to build a GRE tunnel or GRE over IPsec tunnel from your router to the Zscaler gen. So that is the nearest gen. Every country not having this gen features, but your neighboring country might be having. We are in India, so we having the lot of gen available. Let me show you uh, uh, what all gens. So Zscaler data centers. If you go and try to check, let me just opens. So you'll find that a lot of chains are available in the maximum location. So you can see here. So let me just, yeah, so you can see the country depend on the cloud, see enforcement net, that is known as gen. So they're having a different GIA and GPA. So you have to check your domain gscaler.net or gscaler one. They, once you take the services from gscaler, they will define your zone, because based on that domains you will be mapped. So most of the customer will going to map the gscaler.net. So just select the cloud type first here, and then after you will get all the gen informations that is going to be used across the world. So you can see Abu Dhabi, Amsterdam, right, Brussels, Cape Towns, so Dubai, so maximum Frankfurt, like not every country, but major country having the gen. Johannesburg, like Lagos, London. So these are the Milan. So a lot of country, and they have giving the IP address, host name, virtual IP address. So these all public locations, IP details, Zscaler will provide you while provisioning the Zscaler USGN with integrating your network, right? So probably you'll find in the India also somewhere. Let me see. Might be the Mumbai uh, or Chennai. When I forget Singapore or APEC, yeah, we are in the APEC. So let me see. This is Chennai, Chennai one, and Chennai. So Chennai also we having Zen. So India we have, and nearby countries Hong Kong, Kuala Lumpur, and Singapore also. Beijing also have. Mumbai also, you can see Mumbai also. This is the New Delhi. Recently they added. So you can see this is the New Delhi. Earlier it was not. So they also added the New Delhi as well as zone, because a lot of traffic is processing from the New Delhi. So New Delhi also. Earlier only we having the Mumbai and Chennai, but now New Delhi also. That's the good news. So Shanghai, Singapore, Taipei location, Tokyo. So a lot of things we can see here about a data center. You want to explore, you can just visit that. Just search about the Zscaler data center, what I search, and you'll find the Zscaler config. Okay. And then after you can just have to go and explore, and you will find in the map also what location we having the data center across the map. So here you just have to click if you are go like come to the India, see New Delhi, Mumbai, and this. So you have to just visualize over the map also. So the similar thing you are going to find, right? So this is how you can figure out the data center. So let me just back to my slide again. So this slide is talking about, like I was talking about, we just have to build the IPsec tunnel, right? Or GRE over IPsec tunnel. So how this tunnel is going to build? So basically from router and from router to gen through the ISP, you just have to build the tunnel. Let me just use some other color. So let's say suppose this is my tunnel. So I just build it. So now I have the very secure tunnel to my office, to my WAN gateway. Could be the router, could be the firewall, right? So once the traffic is going to come from this user, this is going to land to the gateway, and then based on the destinations, if it is based on the internet, they will simply set to the send to the GIS. So what you have to do for this? Basically, you just have to install the like Zscaler client. One of the client is need to be installed on this PC, and this client also get the all pack file if you are creating on the your JAN portal, GPA, GIA portals for the client connector, and then your pack file will be the just push to the browser. So once this user will strive to the google.com, that will traffic will send to the proxy directly, right? So whatever the traffic going to the internet, they will directly send to the Jane proxy. And Jane proxy further, what is going to happen? So whatever the source is going to come. So let's say suppose your packet is come via the source is 192.16.10.10 and they wanted to go google.com. So this is the original packet. So what they will do, they will just change the source IP address from the actual user and they will add the Zscaler IP address. So might be Zscaler IP address would be the 163.10.1.1.1 and then they will map the packet to the google.com, right? So it is how it is going. So they simply strip out all the source packets, whatever the coming from the user machine, and they hide that source information, and they will add their own information, and they will going to send to the google.com. So this is how you are not exposing your WAN infrastructure, you are not exposing your LAN infrastructure, and Zscaler just exposing their own IP address while going to the internet. So your all internal resources are very safe. Okay, and Zscaler having a lot of capability to just track any kind of the malicious traffic, malicious contact, malicious attack. So anybody is coming to Gen IP address, they will easily track and your network will be always safe. So this is the beauty of the Zscaler proxy. Okay, so this we understand, but what is the challenge and why this SIPA come in a picture? Still, I didn't discuss about that SIPA. Okay, so why I explain this all? This is a very important to understand the SIPA. Okay, so let's assume that we discuss about the source NAT, right? We discuss about the source NAT and the whitelisting. So in source NAT, we are just changing the IP address. So what we are doing, private to public. So this is the what we are doing, right? And why you are doing? Because you're having the special requirement. Some the server might be used with the fixed whitelisting IP address or that, right? Or might be they will just access by the public IP address. So in normal scenario, in Zscaler solution, if we are using any web servers, you no need to do any source NAT, right? But once your traffic will leave from the Jane node, your private IP address will be translated. Let me just private source IP. Let me just share, right? Source IP will be translated as a Gen public IP address or Gen public IP address. So this is going to happen. So anyhow, so whatever the IP you are coming as a private, you can see it is just going to translate to the public and they will packet will reach to the destination. So till now your life is good. So what is the problem? So still we are doing the NAT, your IP is getting translated. You can see here every chain having their public range of the IP address. Let me show you. So let's say suppose I am in India. I landed in the New Delhi. So you can see this is my 136 and 165 range of the IP address. So they will give the similar kind of range of the IP address. So still I don't have any issue. I can simply go to the any of the destination. Then what is the SIPA and why it is going to be huge? So there is a problem. There is a problem. There is a problem. One websites, let's say suppose I'm in India, one website, income tax, just I'm giving the income tax, India based, right? It is saying you can only access me via this range of the IP address. Might be I can give here, might be the 13.0.0 till 113 or 1110.0.0.0. So this is my public IP address, right? So this is public IP address, public IP. So income tax website is saying you can only access me, right? If you coming via this public IP address. So this is the requirement. And now your PC is connected via this public and you are in India and you just think this is your nearest Jane, right? So 136 and 165 IP will get, right? So this is a two range. So let me just highlight you again. This is a two range you possibly get in the New Delhi, right? If you connect to the Zscaler. So once your Zscaler based user is trying to access this website, it will never going to be accessed. still you are getting the public IP address, but this public IP address is not part of this particular range of this website. So you cannot access this public IP address. This is not possible because you coming with a Zscaler and Zscaler having the entirely their different range with the local ISP, whatever you have. So might be these are your local ISPs, right? But Zscaler having a complete global range because they are dealing with the globals. So might be they having the global addresses which might be registered for different countries. So you cannot access the income tax bill. This is a problem. And to solve this problem, we just have to use the source IP anchoring. So you understand 30 minutes, more than 30 minutes, I speak about the basic fundamentals, but actual problem, what I am telling you having one website, the requirement is you have to access from the Zscaler based setups, right? You're having a Zscaler based setup, but there is a problem. You can access this website with the setup the IP address that is 13.0.0 and 100.0.0.0, which might be spreaded in the Vodafone, Airtel, whatever the major ISP located in India. But this is the global IP, public IP address that is allocated to the Zscaler, and they might be using in India, but they are not allowed. Whenever the user coming with this source, they are not allowed to access. Then how we can fix that? So to fix this problem, right? To fix this problem, we just have to use. Let me just use some. Yes. So this is little bit better. Let me just. Okay. So let me take a snip of this, so it will help us to clear. So I'm just going to take a snip. Okay, in case I lose, I will use this. So in this setup, we know that. So now the requirement is to just have to access via this. So now what is the solution? So solution is to SIPA. So SIPA is going to help you in this way. Whatever the user sitting in the branch offices, headquarter offices, and mobile location offices, in regard of the any locations, right? They will first go to the GIA. That's the for sure. Your traffic is going to land to the GIA, right? So you can see here. Let me just clear. We'll use the another snip later. So anyhow, whatever the user setting, they all traffic sent to the nearest GIA public service edge in regard of the what traffic they wanted to use. Once you created one of the application, one of the SIPA policy on the GIA, then you know that if the people are coming for the income tax website of the India, www.incometax.com, then what I have to treat with this traffic? Because if the people will directly go to the income tax, they will not go, right? So in that scenario, what is going to happen? GIA and GPA should have one policy integrated together, and that is known as a SIPA, Zscaler, like SIPA policy, source IP anchoring policy. You just have to create. So whatever the traffic is going to come from the user in GIA, they will simply forward to the GPA public serving edge, right? This GPA is just acting as a your SSL VPNs, or you can say side-to-side VPNs for the remote users. So all policy application is just created on here. So all traffic is going to land on the GPA, and further GPA might be two possibilities. This GPA could be connected with the routers, could be connected with the firewall. Let me just write here. So this could be connected with the router, internet ISP router, and could be connected with the firewall. And this router and firewall having the internet connections, right? Either case. So this might be having the internet connections here. So let me just internet connections. So once the internet connections we have, so they will use a simple NAT processing here. So once the traffic is going to land on the GPA, they will simply use the NAT, and this is the local ISP connection. So local ISP connection, right? So these are your local ISP connection. So once you do the NAT on this, these routers, they will have the valid IP address range because they are the India-based ISP. So they will having this range of the IP address that might be let me show you. This might be the 13 dot or 1110. So once the traffic is going to land there, these might be having the series with the public IP address. This, so this is again valid, and this is might be 1110. So once they will NAT the traffic, once the GPA will come with the private address, GIA will simply forward to the GPA. GPA will having the private IP address because you configure the GPA G connectors. And once GPA will follow the traffic based on the whatever the routing you have done toward this your firewalls, this will transfer the traffic toward the internet access, because you just have to do a very complex like so I'm talking, it looks very simple, but to make this possible, you just have to make a lot of changes. First changes you have to make on the GIA portal. Second changes you have to make the GPA portal. Second, most of the case you'll find the firewalls. You just have to create the Palo Alto. Let's suppose you the Palo Alto firewalls. You have to create the policies. You just have to create the connector setups, whatever you have. Then you have to create the routings. So then finally you can send this gateway out for the any your like a specific traffic which need to be source whitelisting, right? To just access via the particular destination with a particular source IP address. So basically, this is how it is going to be achieve your problem. So this is only come in a picture. SIPA only come in a picture. SIPA only required when you having a requirement to do source white listing. So I'm right. If you not having a source white listing requirement, no required SIPA, right? No SIPA is going to be required. Source IP anchoring. Again, I'm no SIPA is required. So if you're having a whitelisting requirement, you just have to go with the SIPA, because many of the organization, many of the company, many of the vendors, many of the government website, they having the limitation that can be accessed some set of the range of the IP address. So Zscaler earlier not having this solution, but they come with the solution to resolve this kind of problem, because they use the global range of the IP address. So this is the same thing I just wanted to explain. So in my slide, I didn't read anything about that. So they are talking about the forwarding policy for the source IP anchoring to allow the organization to steer the selective traffic processed by the GIA to the internal or external like destination server to their choice. So the same thing they are writing, and this ensure that the traffic is secure by Zscaler, and yet the source IP address is the organization's choice. So this is what they are just talking. So this is just the whitelisting. If you're having a requirement, then it is going to be used. Now they are talking again, some cloud application or web services restrict the access based on the source IP address of the traffic. So this is what I was keep focusing, and you can see even the document is talking about that. Some of the cloud application or the web services restrict the access based on the IP address on the traffic. These application required that your traffic organization from the pre-registered unique IP address, and whenever you're just having this kind of the requirement, then you just have to use the SIPA, right? So I'm not going to read everything, and I hope you guys understand at least concept of the SIPA, what is going to be used. And you can see here, I draw the flow chart. So IP anchoring, how it is going to happen for the home user and the office user. So almost the flow is going to be same. Office user will go to GIA and then GPA, then the firewall. It could be the router. So I'm again adding here. So it's the both scenario, but most of the case firewall, and then it have to NAT, and then the traffic will go out. It required only in case of the source widening is required. Destination not accessible. Destination address is not accessible by the GIA IP address. In that scenario, it is just required, right? So source IP anchoring, just you have to do the NAT based on the local breakout. Similar to the home user, if you're working again, your traffic will land to the GIA portal, then it will come to the GPA, then the firewall, then the NAT, and traffic go out. The scenario will be the same. So I hope you guys enjoy this session. I'm just going to close this short session, and we'll discuss this kind of the stuff in upcoming videos. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Let me see if any query I have. Uh, okay. So most of the query already I have covered. So thank you so much, guys.